Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we're going to be focusing on another spectacular synergy, this time focusing on Towering Roots of the Jungle and Hearth-Vigil. Now, these are two spirits that are included in the Nature Incarnate expansion, and they are two of my favorite spirits, with Towering Roots being my absolute favorite. Now, how does this combo work? It's not as flashy as some of the combos I've shown previously, but it's extremely potent. Now, the key is Hearth-Vigil has a card that Roots wants, and that is Story and Season. And this is a fast power, and it says target spirit may gather up to 3 of their Dahan. If they have at least 3 Dahan among their lands, they gain an energy and may reclaim 1 power card. And this card is so strong on pretty much any spirit, but for Roots, it's everything Roots wants to be doing. One of the biggest weaknesses in Roots' kit is its ability to move Dahan, and this is a card that does that. Roots also tends to be very energy starved. You really want about 1 to 2 energy. If you get that 1 to 2 energy, your game is pretty much solved, and this helps facilitate that. But the reclaim is also really, really strong, especially when you're drafting cards and you end up missing on those card drafts. So what can end up happening is you might play your defend maybe on turn 2, but then you don't have a defend for turn 3. So you can take Story and Season on turn 2, reclaiming your defend card such that you can then play it again the following turn. So Story and Season is so powerful. In addition, you also get the value of Hearth-Vigil Presence, Hearth-Vigil being able to place presence on your board. And not only is that going to protect the Dahan via Fortify, Heart, and Hearth, but it's also going to help buffer your Entwine the Fates of All. And that's when you're going to be defending 2 per presence in that land. And remember, it's factoring in all presence from all spirits. So that means if you have Hearth-Vigil presence here on A3 and 2 of your presence on A3, that means Entwine is going to give us a defense 6 in that land. So Hearth-Vigil is just doing a lot for Roots. Now, what can Roots do for Hearth-Vigil? Really, it's 3 things. First, Roots is probably the best spirit in the entire game at minimizing the blight it takes. I think the only other spirit that takes about the same or less is Green, and I guess you might argue Starlight, but Roots barely takes blight, and that means you're going to buffer and increase that blight pool such that Hearth-Vigil can take more blight, and it allows you to not go blighted, despite having a spirit that is fairly blight hungry. Usually Hearth-Vigil is taking about 3 blight in most matchups. Now, of course, once you take that blight, you pretty much just solve your game, but you are flipping that blight card. So when you pair it with a spirit like Roots that doesn't blight, it means that you're going to stay healthy, and that's pretty powerful. The second thing is Hearth-Vigil really wants that card that is a Sun Earth card, that Sun Earth. And sometimes you forget or you are unable to gain those cards, even though you can on G2. Sometimes you miss. Well, Towering Roots has Boon of Resilient Power, and this is going to enable Hearth-Vigil to gain those or have those extra drafts to find those powerful cards. In addition, if for some reason Hearth-Vigil has lost a presence, you can then steal that presence with that top part of the card and then bring this presence into a land with your Dahan to help facilitate that Entwined defend that I mentioned earlier. So, yeah, Towering Roots can give Hearth-Vigil that Boon of Resilient Power to give them more power card drafts. Now, the last thing with how this combo works is really it's Roots is G3, and your presence placement range is so large. And sometimes Hearth-Vigil may find themselves out of position, and they may need to give that Favors of Story and Season to a player such that that player can move to Han, such that Hearth-Vigil can properly use its counterattack. An example would be like, let's say this wetlands is ravaging, and as you can see, Hearth-Vigil has no presence on its board, or it has 1 presence adjacent. Well, now Roots maybe can G3 and place a presence over here, and then Hearth-Vigil can give Roots Story and Season. Roots is going to gather those 3 Dahan, and that allows Roots to gather some Dahan into this land, and then that allows Hearth-Vigil to access that land. And a lot of times, Hearth-Vigil will use Favor of Story and Season. Well, I should say a lot of times, but sometimes they will use this card to enable those favorable counterattacks. And because Roots is G3ing, you're always having this massive um, presence placement range to help facilitate that combo. Um, and like some examples of spirits that can't really do that would be like Ocean, right? Where you only can put presence on the coasts, or Lure, where you only can put presence on inland lands, or maybe River that's in this reclaim loop. So like there are other spirits that are a little bit more restricted in how they're placing presence. Roots is pretty you pretty much can freely place presence because of that G3. So this is a very very strong combo. Once again, it's not flashy, but it's very potent. Um, and this is a combo that we did find during playtesting, and I mean we abused it so much to the point where we would even if we were playing these spirits during playtesting, we would just say, you want to know what? We can't support each other because it warps the game too much. But yeah, just incredibly powerful. Also, they line up very well on elements too. So like roots, if either of them picks up elemental boon, it's usually sun, earth, and then plant, and that will enable both of the innates quite well. And they cover all of the elements. Well, I guess fire is the only one that you're weak to, but like you have plenty of air for Hearth-Vigil and animal, and then Roots has like that plant and then the moon and all of that. So if you like this video, like, subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys in the next video.